Hello everybody, SeKo Starcraft bringing you some more action from Dreamhack Valencia. Got Liquid Ret versus former Team Liquid player and been with Evil Geniuses for some time now, Mr. Huk. Fellow Canadian, badass protoss player. We got ourselves a ZVP on Whirlwind. Now this is kind of interesting for me. What I'm excited to see about this is Ret is known for huge macro, focusing on getting tons of drones, tons of economy, and if he can get to that point, he's super tough to beat. Problem is, most people don't let you get to that point. Huk is somebody that likes aggression. A lot of the games I've seen him going up recently against Zerg players, a lot of two-base play, delaying his third base a lot of gateway-focused play. So it's low tech, very powerful, upgrade focused, and very difficult for Zergs to deal with for the first half of the game. If you can beat it though, you're generally going to take it. So we'll see as this game goes on how both these players are going to adapt here. Looks like it's going to be a nexus first from our protoss player. I think it's going to be nexus first. Possibly. Otherwise I would have expected to see maybe a gateway by now. I've been started to dabble a bit, just lightly dabble, in protoss play. We see that the Zerg is going pool first. Even on this map, very often you're going to see people try to cannon rush you if they can. Excuse me, I'm trying not to cough. It's in the back of my throat. Whereas Huk, on the other hand, is perfectly content to try and go for this play. Now, Ret spots that straight away. So, I'm interested to think what the panic is here now for these two players. Is Ret going to go for a bunch of lings here at the beginning and try to pressure this? Because you can, it's close enough, and his pool was first. So he would be able to get out a pile of lings. Is he going to try and punish though? Doesn't look that way, nope, he's going to try and play straight up. I'm sure Huk is panicking slightly in his mind, though it is weird that he put his gateway inside of his base instead of trying to help wall off with it. Ah, that's the plan. Nexus first. 3 hatch immediately at the 3.5 minute mark. Those are really your choices. If you see your opponent that's going to go for this kind of super greedy opening, your option is to try to punish it or play more greedy. I generally try to punish these things, but if you already got a tech choice in mind, you often don't really want to jeopardize that. Now, Huk might still be somewhat worried about any type of attack here. Now that his cannon's finished up, I'm sure he feels a lot better. Get that cybernetic score down, but I get another pylon down here soon as well. This Overlord from Ret's going to be pretty safe for a while. Back at home, we're going to be seeing nothing but drones, because that is what Ret is known for. He's at a bit of a worker deficit right now because he obviously spent some money on getting down another hatch. When that pops up, he's going to be in a great position. He may have to worry about getting Zergling speed though, in case some sort of stalker pressure comes out early from Huk once these cybercores finished up. Yeah, computer. Stargate play. Pretty typical. If you're going to have the ability to hold your base, getting out that sort of, you know, maybe Phoenix army. I'm not going to expect any type of oracles at this stage, but big play for Phoenixes would make sense to me. We're starting to see gas taken now from Ret, his base. I actually expected to see a little bit more focus on droning up before that. Doesn't even have a lead yet in workers over his opponent. He will once these 7 pop. But the Protoss with nothing but Chrono Boost to spend on his own buildings from building probes, gonna do pretty good. The gateway at the front there, he's gonna get out a couple of stalkers, just allow him to deflect any other type of attack. This is pretty smart here from Huk. Let's see how good he can micro this here. Maybe not micro at all. He's gonna try to catch it up to a stalker at the same time. Maybe? Nope. He's not even going to try and take a ling with him. He's just going to run all the way. But it's hopefully going to buy. Nope, I thought he was going to try and sneak that probe by. That will not be the case. No creep spread yet either from our Zerg player. I think it's going to be pretty important for him to consider that, to attach these bases to each other. The Stargate is done and Phoenix play is on the way. How many has he got out now? Units wise, he's just got the 2. He might start picking up a couple of overlords with them. Or he might hold up till he's got maybe 4 or 5. That way he can come and pick off these queens much more easily. It looks like he does not want to tip his hand just yet as to what's going on. There are quite a bit of overlords to be able to be picked off here around the map though. So his phoenixes will stay very busy. We have roaches on the way, 10 roaches. I still think it's going to be mostly for defensive purposes. Third base coming out of Huk, and we might see him actually move up into another couple of Stargates when those do finish. There he has the phoenixes he needs to be able to go and push out. We don't have any spore crawlers at all for a Zerg player. I like getting down spore crawlers, at least one, just out of habit as a Zerg player. If you're playing against Terran and Protoss, they're both really good to use. Looks like he might be able to get this queen here before the spore crawlers finish. Yep, just picks it off. Spores finish up. Oh, really? Well, he does see the attack coming in, and this is a little unfortunate. This is actually quite a bit of damage here. Gonna get himself in some more sentries. Gonna have to put him down by his cyber. Oh no. That's pretty good desperation placement there. I'm okay with that. He'd probably have to cancel all these though. I'm sure he doesn't want to, but this is a lot of money to lose if he doesn't. In a strange sense, we see Ret wanting to continue putting on the pressure here. Oh no. Got a pretty bad supply block out of Huk because of this as well. This is some pretty interesting heads-up play from Ret here. Yeah. Shooting some in a barrel there. Alright, let's look at the damage. 15 workers killed. I think he probably could have sniped a few more. I think if he actually held position in the worker line, probably could have did it better. Phoenixes are going to run around and keep being pesky. We have spores at every base. I'll keep this a little bit safer. And now let's see what the tech choice is. Got hydras, roaches, and if we look at the units wise, over 20 worker lead. A little bit more careful there with his overlords. Looking at our Protoss player, he's reeling a little bit here. He might have to try for a push out soon. We see him getting the Templar archives. I think he just wants to make himself some Archons and push out here with this. Zealot legs are about to finish up. And with +2 attack, he's going to do a pretty good job against most things. The roaches will do alright, but the charge is going to allow him to get right on top and do a lot of damage. The upgrades are very delayed out of our Zerg player because he went for that early pressure, that early roach bust with lings, which I think was effective, but now we're going to have to see if he can hold on. This is a pretty formidable bit of Protoss coming in here. Great force fields, keeping the zealots right next to all the hydras and roaches. Good positioning out of the workers. He'll lose some, but he'll at least keep the base alive. 12 roaches about to pop. Looks like he wants to get that queen, and he will do so. Picks up all the hydralisks. pretty good play out of Puck in this position. Say he's making a pretty good job out of this here. How many workers did he kill? Well, he got himself 10 in total. Yeah, he did go for some Archons, but he's just gonna send them home. Still no creep out of Ret here. It's very rare that I see people play this absolute no creep kind of play, and he's got some energy to at least put a couple of tumors down for his bases. Oh no. Now, Ret does have a pretty good supply lead. He does have his 3 bases up, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop the Protoss from getting the next base for himself. He's got to keep building up an army, not being certain what's going to be coming back at him here. Hydra speed, +2. We don't have any infestation pit out. We don't have any hive tech on the way because of that. And we don't have a 4th base. Ret, he looks, I'm not going to say confused right now, but with this massive buildup of just more and more units, it looks like he wants to go for a push. But against the Archon charge lot mixture that we have over here, I just don't think it's going to work. He'd probably be better off teching up into something else. Swarm host or getting out infestors at least to hit these with some fungals. Keep the zealots from getting on top of you. I actually really enjoy this zealot heavy style when I've been playing some of my Protoss games lately. It's been something I've tried more of just because so cheap, they're so powerful, they tank so much damage, and if you get them with charge and the upgrades that you want, they get right on top of their opponent and just crush. So Ret's just pushing to max out on Roach Hydra, and once again I mean there's not great splash out of our Protoss player. I mean if he had a Colossus, this would be he would just stomp the army that's against him here. But still, with the Archons and the charge lots, we'll see if he's going to be able to maintain. +3 attack already finished. +2. He hasn't even started +2 armor, but +2 attack should be finishing pretty soon. Now he's essentially pretty much maxed out. Let's see if he can get in the damage that he wants to. If he can't, or at least do a lot of crippling damage, I think he's actually going to be in a pretty bad spot if the Protoss can keep up on these 3 bases. Lost that mothership core a little cheaply here. A lot of Hydras in the back. He's going to lose these Phoenixes probably pretty quick. Now, unfortunately, the force fields really work against Huk right there. The range on these Hydras allowing him to get in here pretty tight. Once again, yeah, this wasn't enough. I think Huk, he could just go home, build up another good-sized army, and now that he's got 3 bases, will be just fine. Storm's on the way, lots of High Templars. Probably could start working on his armor upgrades. But Huk, even though he's down supply, I think he's in a great position. The tech is just not where it needs to be from Ret, and I see so many Zerg players that get stuck on these tech paths. Yeah, I know the upgrades are in that position, but with enough Hydras, you could get some Swarm Hosts out that'll keep the Protoss at bay. He doesn't have the Colossus to deal with them. Getting out the Infestors to lock things down with the Fungals. Even grabbing Neural Parasite on Archons is a pretty effective thing you can do. Now that we obviously have feedback out and Storm's about to finish up, the next attack here from the Zerg player I think is just going to get swatted. He does have a 4th base up, but he's been mining on 3 a lot longer, so he will be out of these bases sooner than the Protoss will. He's been much less cost effective. Ooh. Oh no. Look at the strength of that army. It is ready to melt. Again, the upgrades playing a pretty big role. The +3 attack here, pretty important. We're overextending a little bit there. We'll need to get his storms back, I think, before he can really attack this again. Roaches are armored, so storms won't do as much damage. But with the speed, they might actually be able to pick off a couple of units here. Huk may have to throw down some desperation force fields. This is a kind of strange looking attack here. I don't think he might be able to snipe that nexus. I don't know if it's gonna be worthwhile or not. Maybe it's still a little bit closer than I expected it to be. Oh boy. Now on this side we had zealot run-bys, lots of zealot run-bys. So only thing Huk was trying to do is hang on by the skin of his teeth, and he's gonna be alright. Did he get much for worker kills here? Not really, but it did chew up all the reinforcements here from Ret. Killed the 4th base. Does he even have a proxy on this side of the map? I don't think so. He just ran those way the hell around everything. Still just sitting on +3 attack. Lots of mortals, lots of archons. Gonna try to get some more storms out here. What has he got? 6 High Templar. He's got enough for a couple of storms here. He needs to hit a time warp. Oh, he doesn't have the energy for it. Oh, yes he does. If he grabs a time warp and then the storms. A little sloppy there, a little bit of bad shots. If he hit a time warp and then hit the storms, he'll melt things a lot better. Remaking his 4th base. We still see our Zerg player. He does have up his infestation pit, but he has not started building his hive. Protoss player, on the other hand, not really doing a lot of tech. Getting his blink out though, finally getting armor up. Good dodge on the storm. Zealots would charge, so much easier to warp in against this kind of army. You're not going to get kited for a long time if you've got zealots there to do some work. Another base going down for the Zerg player. Still think Huk's in a better position. Now that he's building up even more archons, still has a pile of storms available to him. I guess he casted a few. These bases aren't really going to pay too much for themselves if Huk does want to go after those. He's ahead in supply at this moment. Upgrades aren't going to finish just yet. He's probably going to start considering his next base as well. Pretty good force fields. Grabbing a few hydras there. Ret's losing supply really fast. Those archons are just walking over the force fields and letting his army move further forward. Got another run by down here at the south that's just messing stuff up. Oh boy. Interesting game. Once again, I just can't emphasize enough how stubborn it looked like Ret was playing here. He knew what composition he was going up against. He wasn't able to defeat it straight out. The Immortals, the Archons, well upgraded Protoss. He couldn't do economic damage. I think after he did his run by and his damage, he just felt like he could keep putting the pressure on. And when I look at this and how it turned out, it just shows that you really got to keep moving forward. Get out some Broodlords maybe, get out some Swarm Hosts, move into some other tech choice that's going to help you out more. That was game 1 of a best of 3. We'll have the next game between Huk and Ret